Hello, Roftwood. Thanks for tuning in to my final RCC Fireside Chat episode. This episode is part 3 of my November 24th, 2019 discussion with Clayton Carmine, an officer with the Soldiers of Crossman Pro Survivor group. Clayton and the SOC's help in Roftwood during the RRF and FoD's 2019 Halloween raid was big time. We still got whooped, but it would have been way worse if not for their great effort. Again, thanks for tuning in and be sure to stick around after the conversation for my final closing words. So, for one last time, I hope you enjoy the show. So these missions I hear that the Soldiers of Crossman do, it sounds like a pretty unique feature from your group. Could you explain those to me?
It mainly started out around like 2008, 2009 before I was part of the group. One of our main members and our head drill sergeant, Moses Killjoy, or Reverend Ed Dooley, had like health problems going on. Yeah. So one of the first things the SOC collated mission-wise was Rev had to leave for a few weeks. So Frank Byrne, I want to say Cortana was still there, and they organized like a defend the Rev mission. And they all stacked up in St. Pius, which is one of the 3 hospitals in Darvel we call Saints Row.
Saints Row.
Because it's St. Pius, St. Ethelbert's, and St. something else.
You guys have a St. Ethelbert's?
I want to say so. I mean, it's either like the same name or the same. It's real close to it.
I see St. Pius. I have no idea how to pronounce that hospital.
Yeah, it's
St. Mateo's, St. Pius. So anyway, he's in St. Pius Hospital?
Yeah, and this is before I joined. But
Reverend Ed Dooley.
Yes, Reverend Ed Dooley was going to idle out in that building. And it was Frank and 3 or 4 other SOC members were going to stand there and defend him for as long as they could. It takes 7 days for you to never touch that character again.
To idle out.
Yeah, to idle out and your character, quote unquote, disappears.
Yeah, untargetable.
Yeah.
So 7 days, protect this guy. And that was one of the first missions the Soldiers of Crossman designed.
Yeah, one of the first formal missions they had set up.
I like that.
They had made it 5 days before the Zeds finally broke in and Rev fell.
No, so close.
But according to the forums I had read, it was such a bonding experience that even though Rev fell first, they still stood there and held Pius until the rest of the SOC members had fallen too.
Oh,
and it finally got ruined.
So awesome. It's like a scene out of 300 or something.
Exactly, and that set the stage for how the SOC
brotherhood bond or whatever.
Yeah. Today, tomorrow, forever.
Yeah.
The SOC will stand
together.
Exactly.
Oh, I love it. It's so cool. So much honor. Someone's willing to die for you.
And that's one of the things that Zod Rhombus, the leader of the CDF before, those 2 teams got melded together, that was his big thing was no one else leaves until I leave. So the SOC, granted, numbers for groups across multiple have shrunk, but we always instill that into our people. It's we're a brotherhood. Brotherhood first, everything else second.
Yeah, the Knights are super strong like that too. It's cool when you can really just rely on folks. I don't know, we're so flea for the most part. Sometimes in St. Ethelbert's or something, we'll hold out to the end. Every once in a great while, Herbert. But for the most part, we're always just on our feet and running all around. It's every man for himself, but we're all in it together kind of thing.
No, and it's funny you mentioned the Knights, because Brev came from the Knights Templar. He was Moses Killjoy, and he was a drill sergeant and all that over there.
Oh, wow.
And he had already done the drill sergeant thing and the officer thing over with the Knights Templar. He basically spearheaded our drill sergeant in charge of boot camp thing and different sectors of Darville getting like, you know, a squad leader, a corporal, that kind of thing.
Wow. So I heard that the Darville Heights was like broken up into quadrants. So did each like quadrant get their set of missions, or was it just like overall missions that anyone could do?
It was broken basically in like north, south, east, west. So you had Crossman Grove, Tyler Lane was your northeast. Saints Row was your kind of like little central area. We put a sergeant and a squad in charge of St. Pius.
What about for the southwest quadrant? What was the building?
I mean, when I came into it, it was, you had Herman, Latrobe, and, you know, that like southwest part of Kager, that sector.
You guys are pretty real estate rich yourselves.
Yeah, we got 3 hospitals, 2 NTs,
Half
of
them
them
all. Yeah.
and 3 PDs, and 3 hospitals.
And you got free running lanes everywhere, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean,
Herman building seems pretty important.
yeah.
So the most calm area seems like the northwest. There's not a lot going on there.
I mean, House Crescent, granted nowadays with, you know, the Dead Man Zone, House Crescent hasn't had a lot of activity. But again, like most groups, you know, we've shrunk, I think around to like 11 active members nowadays.
Yeah, Roftwood Elite has like 13 right now. The
That'd be
RRF got like 60, Scorch got like 17. The game's different.
No, I
But
mean, for sure, yeah, the game's different.
still
but
active folks going on and doing stuff.
we're still getting people here and there joining on our forum.
Yeah, Darville Heights seems pretty fun. Do you remember what quadrant you were in?
I was definitely northwest.
Yeah.
I was part of like the Hayes Crescent. I had the fire department.
Could you take missions in any of the quadrants?
Yeah, basically. We had a 5x5 block responsible in Darville, but we could cross over as needed. Like someone put up on the forums, hey, the Herman building's down, so we'd all kind of agglomerate over there.
That's cool. Seems pretty effective. It's so unique. I've never really looked at a map like that, broken up into quadrants. When I was breaking up, like Roftwood, I was breaking it up into different zones, not necessarily quadrants.
I mean, granted, nowadays, numbers don't, you know, quantify how that used to be broken up, but when we had the people for it, it was great.
The biggest thing for me is just trying to keep the suburb alive and standing.
And you're always going to have remote medical staff at St. Ethelbert's. You're always going to have people fighting for each corner of the burb.
Yeah, it's a pretty popular area for sure. I'm very grateful for the mountain medical staff and how much
Yeah.
they enjoy just slapping first aid kits and jabbing us with revives, so you can just be Looney Tunes with the like guns and the toolkits. It complements each other pretty well. And you guys have been very nice too. You added a lot of extra bullets and toolboxes to our arsenal. I know you guys just announced your departure. You're going back to Darville Heights, is my understanding, in 2019.
Yeah, we're headed back home for the holidays.
Yeah, take care of your suburb, man. Update her on the wiki. I see you update buildings. I'm getting in that habit too. It's nice. I can like see what's going on over in your area using that like danger updater thing on the wiki. If we, you know, you guys can look at Roftwood. I can look at you.
It is and isn't a tool. The danger updater is Bob McCreef. He's one of the psyops on the wiki, and I think he actually has a guy that goes through and just free runs around the areas and updates like when he can.
I don't know. I like seeing when the suburbs like turn like yellow and red and green and
Yeah, but that like the different colors is all off like what the buildings are, you know, as you update them.
yeah. So when you update it, it like goes live real time.
I will tell you though, to like stand off your updates. Like say you just saw a building, don't update right away. Give it like a 3 or 4 hours and then update it, because there are still like zombie groups that regularly check the wiki for the suburbs they're in, and they will go attack buildings they see like have just been updated as like repaired or EHB or whatever.
I wonder if that's how I actually died.
I don't know.
Let me check.
Lorenzo is always like a big hitter.
Yeah, I just died last night, and I think I like updated Lorenzo before I went to bed. I'm like,
No,
hey,
yeah.
this hospital's doing good, guys. So I wake up, it's freaking ruined.
Always stand off your updates, dude.
No, I did not update it. It has not been updated since February. But yeah, that is good advice. Update Lorenzo right now. It's still ruined, but it is... Oh wait, I actually don't know if it is ruined anymore. I'm not gonna give it a false status.
Well, there's always the under attack option.
Yeah, it is definitely under attack. So yeah, I guess before we conclude this, I would like... The March of the Dead is a pretty interesting event in my world. You were actually around for 2.0. I'm not... It's kind of like World Wars or something. It's like the World War Z1, World War Z2.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see a World War Z3. I'm pretty interested in how March of the Dead 2 went, though. What's your recollection? You have any cool stories to share?
I mean, if you don't mind, I'd like to read the the blurb from the wiki page.
It's not a thing. We can take a, take time, cut space out. Under
I know, man. I'd like to
attack.
include this in here.
I'm updating the Lorenzo thing while you do that. I really big into updating the danger thing now.
I mean, yeah, you should be.
I don't care if I die. I guess, whatever.
Okay, well, while you're doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and read the background for March of the Dead 2. After the events of the first March of the Dead returned to their home of Dunnell Hills. For the next 3 years, the Dead succeeded in holding the suburb as their own, preventing many attempts to reclaim it by the Dunnell Hills Police Department and their allies. In early March of 2011, the Dunnell Hills Police Department again sought to force the Dead out of Dunnell Hills and formed a coalition of several of the largest survivor groups, including the Fortress, Knights Templar, Army Control Corps, and the Soldiers of Crossman. By the end of March, the suburb was primarily in survivor hands. This prompted a resurgence of the number of members and activity of the Dead, who became known as the Dead 2.0. So with that, working with those groups, the Dunnell Hills Police Department, Fortress, and others, the SOC had held Dunnell Hills for 2 weeks, which is like major TRPs, the NTs, all of that stuff was in survivor hands for multiple weeks before the Dead had managed to resurge their numbers and take all those back. So even though quote unquote we lost, the survivors won that battle, which I guess led to, a complete ruining of Malton for the week or month or whatever. So
Damn. I don't know what I'd do if I was part of that situation. I guess just the best I could, but wow, what a different landscape Malton must have been.
for most survivor groups, yeah, granted, it wasn't that great, but for
Frank
the
says
SOC,
it was one of his favorite times playing the game. So crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
Such a
that's
psycho.
one of the my most memorable moments of being in the SOC was me and Frank hiding out in a ruined club somewhere in Dunnell Hills, while the Dead just flowed past us, and we were just in this dark ruined building, and they didn't notice us.
Wow, you just watch these piles of zombies outside just coming and going.
Yeah, we'd hop out every so often, and zombies were still just shambling past us. It's the epitome of a zombie apocalypse, and you're in this dark building where they can't get you.
And then wasn't this whole March of the Dead thing provoked by you or something?
Yeah, it was us, with Dunnell Hills Police Department, the Fortress, Knights Templar, Army Control Corps, and the Soldiers of Crossman. All went into Dunnell Hills, repaired the entire suburb, and held it for 2 or 3 weeks before the Dead finally zerged up or whatever and took it back from us, and then just walked across the entirety of Malton and ruined the whole thing.
Jeez, I'm crow.
Yeah.
What a reaction. So is Dunnell Hills the Dead's home base?
Well, yeah, basically. They set up this whole dead man zone nowadays, which is Dunnell Hills and the suburbs touching next to it. So it's Dunnell Hills is the base of the Dead, and also the base of the Dunnell Hills Police Department. Included in the Dead Man Zone is Peddleston Village, Chudleyton, West Becktown, Mulbank, and Owsley Bank.
Jeez, dude.
And basically, they've cut off what, 6%, 10% of the map, just because they say they can.
What is your experience with the Dunhill Hills Police Department? Are you guys pretty good friends with them?
Oh yeah, we're staunch allies of those guys. I mean, they come over to Java Heights for like repair, restock, revives, all that kind of stuff. We're actually on Discord with them too.
Oh, cool. I didn't know they had a Discord.
Yeah, they just put it back up after
I
I
hear that they
broke
got
a
like
lot of them.
RP elements,
They do. I mean, they're like police officers. Is their thing.
and like they're just home based in the freaking heart of the dead zone. You have to have a certain kind of constitution to put up with that.
Well, I mean, as I understood it, it was Dunhill Hills Police Department before the dead showed up.
Oh man, I have an alt, my Gideon Ghoul Slayer alt. I made him as my super RP nut, and he dresses all in white. He's just like his profile is all about being like a white knight for Kiger Maw. I don't know.
Kager.
Yeah, Kager Maw, whatever. But I don't know. I'm so caught up with my zombie character and my zombie GG character. I don't have time for my Gideon Ghoul Slayer guy, but I would love to just like use him to battle the dead. It would be so fun. I'd just like RP the hell out of him, see what happens.
If March of 2020, he ain't busy, we're marching on Dunhill Hills.
Hello, Roftwood. I'm interrupting this conversation briefly to announce that the March of the Dead 2020 event did kick off, and although I've been retired for a solid month now, I have heard the tales of the destruction it's caused across the city, especially in Roftwood from close friends. There was a screenshot that was passed to me showing Swansboro Park with a staggering 28 zombies all murrying for a revive. I'm not endorsing the Dead's epic smashing because of their zergy ways, but I am sharing a piece of recent and relevant history. Now back to our regularly scheduled programming. Oh geez, March 2020?
Yeah,
Oh
we're trying
my
to group
gosh.
together. We're poking the dead bear 2020.
Think about it, see what the current state of... I'm all about Roftwood 1000%. I'm sure like they'll show up one way or the other. We're just always trying to freaking satisfy these arch enemies, man. Everyone likes a piece of Roftwood.
I mean, the SOC leadership has been talking about it, and we're trying to get like, because of what's happened since what, the fall of Kager.
Dude, all my freaking
Don't give up.
everything's against Ridley Bank right now. Roftwood's literally like being colonized. I can't just like, it takes so much attention and effort and energy out of me to just keep Roftwood in the state that she's in. We got like most buildings standing, but like, man, they got like the mall still, and like we're constantly losing different necrotech buildings and stuff. It's freaking nuts. And the flowers are still in town too, like shooting us here and there.
Well, they're leaving.
They probably will get bored at some point.
Yeah.
But geez, I'm crow. It's a lot.
All I'm saying is, man, nothing big has happened to this game since like 2012.
Big like that, and I don't know if that kind of big's cool. We'll see.
It is.
I'm just like a freaking out kind of guy. It's like,
nah, man.
I got
cool,
so
dude.
much danger at my doorstep all the time already. I can't imagine poking anything.
All right, well, for any other groups out there, hit up the SMC on Discord, and we will set you up.
Yeah, I bet you can get like DEM. Andrew Bowers, the guy who likes being knee deep in shit or whatever.
Oh no, yeah. They pulled us into Roftwood. We were actually there supporting them.
Oh, that is how all this started, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, Andrew pulled us into that Roftwood and Stanbury thing.
He's been my friend since I first got back in the game in like 2017. He had a pretty cool little group going with the DEM. He kind of was like steering the freaking pack.
Yeah, Malton Civil Defense Unit.
Yeah, he was steering what was left of them, because I came back and DEM was not as big as I remembered. They were like super tiny. Talk about like groups that shrank over time. Jeez and crow.
Yeah.
But he was doing a really good job of leading what was left of it, and I called him in to help when, I wrote my fanfiction stuff, The Great Scourgeon, when like I first come back to Roftwood. I'm trying to like level up and stuff and see who's around in the community and stir up a community. There really wasn't one when I first came back to the game. And just as I literally start the RCC and start getting a community up, the Scourge show up to the doorstep, and they just went on their campaign of destroying every single building, and like you said, that salt the earth kind of thing. And that was oh, I totally just high bastard my train of thought there. We're talking about poking the bear. We're talking about, I don't know.
Well, since this will be our part, 3 or 4, however you cut this up.
Yeah, this is gonna be our final part 3.
Okay.
We're talking about how we met, or something like that.
No, yeah.
It's Andrew Bauer. That's how it was. Yeah. It was
Yeah.
Andrew Bauer coming in the shit.
DM pulled us into Roftwood.
One more brief interruption, Roftwood. I just want to take this moment to shout out to you, Andy Bauer of the DEM's Malton Civil Defense Unit. You've answered the RCC support call against the first Great Scourgeon of Roftwood back in 2018, as well as my support call against the RRF's Halloween raid in 2019, as well as introduced the RCC to an awesome set of allies with the Soldiers of Crossman. Your service to the RCC was diamond status, brother. Now back to our regularly scheduled programming. Yeah, I remember now. I'm talking about how Andrew Bauer got us all connected. It was the DM was tiny and stuff, and he comes into Roftwood and helped bail us out against the Scourge when they were just being ridiculous, and that
Oh, yeah.
great Scourgeon apocalypse. I can't imagine the freaking March of the Dead apocalypse type situation. Landscape with the Scourge. Ah, you're nuts. Alright, you wanna call a crazy invite? I'll run it down, see who wants to participate, because that's a legendary type situation, man. You want to poke the dead and get them to skyrocket to 600 again?
Yeah.
Jeez, I'm crow. What is it? How do you poke them? It's, you have to just take over the suburb for a bit, and they get all angry?
You go in down the hills, you repair as many buildings as you can, and you hold them.
Damn.
And the dead, I guarantee it, will skyrocket up to 100 plus, 200 plus members again, and rampage around Malton. Think of it like a big bash, but you poke it first.
Man, you're crazy.
That's what we want to do.
You're crazy. Alright, I'll think about it. Clayton Carmine, thank you for enlightening my understanding of the Soldiers of Crossman.
Yeah, brother.
I like the mission thing out of this whole conversation we've had. The missions seem pretty interesting. It's you have a general focus of what people are, want to do, and then you have options if people want to go a little deeper, or they can just be content with playing the general picture.
Yeah, basically to retouch on the missions, you set a suburb, you set a rendezvous point, you set revive points, and then you tell folks, hey, we need to get, these NTs up, these police departments up, etc., etc.
Yeah, it's cool. I like that. I think I can add that tool to my box. Alright, man.
For it, dude.
Thank you. I'll think about the March of the Dead thing or whatever. Jeez,
Come
this is gonna
on.
be crazy. I'll catch up with you later, dude.
Alright, brother.
Welcome back, Roftwood. This concludes my conversation with the SOC's own Clayton Carmine, recorded back in November 24th, 2019, following a savage Halloween assault on Roftwood by the Ridley Bank Resistance Front and Flowers of Decay. Clayton, thanks for you and your team's help keeping Roftwood's pulse beating during that most dark and dangerous time. Roftwood, this episode also concludes my RCC Fireside Chat series. I've recorded 37 of these episodes in just about 2 years of heavy play, and I have had the most fun time learning about the players behind the characters, putting voices to the names, and discovering the pieces that make up all these great groups from both the past and present. Sunflower and Lostfire from the Malton Medical staff, thank you for helping me kick off the RCC and this podcast series, as well as teaching me the beauty of rich RPing and how to laugh in this game. Chainsaw surgeries, rainbow dental floss stitching, and greenhouse gut rot forever. Roddy Winters and Bonaldo of the Knights Templar, Thank you for showing me how to entertain fun rivalries and welcome newbies into the ranks, as well as how cool it is keeping track of this game's history. Your forum is a testament to great deeds and hilarious follies of times past and present. Rotting Rita of the Scourge, thanks for being a very fun arch enemy of the RCC and inspiring me with my great Scourgeon of Roftwood UD Wiki series. I still apologize over my outburst with the Courtly Library incident. Bob Moncrief, you are a true gentleman and honor the game both inside and out. Thanks for showing me how cool and important the UD Wiki is, also maintaining an awesome Discord. Lord Mullick, you will always be my favorite all-time arch enemy. You have shown me what true organization looks like, as well as the importance of running a good narrative. Johnny P. Baraga, the Danger Updater blew my Urban Dead mind. Bob Moncrief showed me the importance of the UD Wiki, and you sealed the deal. Well done with the East Becktown Defender's most beautiful easy updater. Frank Byrne, how you have fun being knee-deep in shit always puts a smile on my face. My favorite thing I learned from you is the perspective that we are survivors in a zombie apocalypse game. We aren't supposed to be winning. The fun is in surviving and brotherhood. Bosch, man, you are the most well-rounded player I've interviewed. Your stories are legendary and stretch vast across nearly all walks the city of Malton offers. The level of influence you've had in this game is amazing. Millhauser, thanks for sharing the SOC ethos about focusing on survival, not so much on holding buildings, and not wasting action points on PKers. Clayton Carmine, I thought you were crazy with your Poke the Bear idea igniting this month's March of the Dead 2020 event, but it seems to have brought a lot of good players together, and the repair resets from the Dead Zone that folks have shared with me over this past month have been beautiful. Also, thanks for sharing the SOC ethos of brotherhood and how to design cool missions. Kevin Davis, the offer stands to do a series with me, man. Other than he, I do believe this episode wraps up my RCC Fireside Chat series. Thanks to all you folks who've liked my episodes on YouTube and SoundCloud. Thanks to you lurking listeners out there. And thank you great players of Urban Dead for contributing to a game I deeply love. It takes all kinds of people to make this game great, and I'm lucky to have got to know a ton of you. There is a new RCC led by awesome players from the old RCC. They have rebranded it the Roftwood Communication Center, and I'm honored for them carrying forth the legacy. The old RCC Discord is available for viewing only, starting today, March 21st, 2020. It's set up as a museum of sorts to honor the legacy you've all helped make. The new RCC Discord is linked in the comments of this episode, and I can tell you from first-hand experience, the charm is still alive and well. A final note, Roftwood. I've been retired Zombie GG for a solid month now, and I've had much time to reflect on why I got so wrapped up in this game and the players in it. I can't answer it in any short order, but I found this quote by one of my favorite authors that resonates with me down to my bones. It's Kurt Vonnegut whom I quote. What should young people do with their lives today? Many things, obviously, but the most daring thing is to create stable communities in which the terrible disease of loneliness can be cured. This RCC Fireside Chat is a post-apocalyptic production proudly presented to you by what was once the Roftwood Coordination Center. I'm Zombie GG and Roftwood. As always, the pleasure's been mine.